What's going on, guys? It is the Coaster Battleman here, bringing you an awesome video. The top 10 roller coasters at Kings Island. I know I did a video like this a few months ago with Kings Island when I went, and I really had a good time there, but this is a 2017 version, and this is my thoughts on where Mystic Timbers should place, etc. I'm counting down the 10 best coasters at Kings Island, doing my same grading scale I did for Great America, and I'll do this with Cedar Point once they announce what's happening to Mean Streak, if it's getting RMC'd. But let's move on to the countdown with number 10, Invertigo. This ride is known for its high intensity levels, which I gave A+. But other than that, this coaster isn't that great. The only reason why I would give it a 6 out of 10 is due to its very forceful vertical loop. Invertigo's vertical loop is so small, which makes it so forceful and making it awesome. But the rest of the ride, besides that vertical loop and the 2 drops, isn't that great. Number 9 is Racer, and overall I'd give it a 6.5 out of 10. It's not that great of a racing coaster in my opinion. I've heard people say that it is one of the best coasters at Kings Island, like in the top 5. But in my opinion, I don't agree with those enthusiasts that say this is a top 5 coaster at Kings Island, because I didn't really float up out of my seat on the airtime hills. Plus, the ride was just not the smoothest either. It was just okay in smoothness. But the racing element did make up for it because racing the other side is always fun on roller coasters. Number 8 is the Bat. This is an awesome aerodynamic suspended coaster. Overall, 7 out of 10 ride. Its height, speed, and duration are pretty bad, and the drop is just average and mediocre. But other than that, this ride is awesome. The smoothness is pretty good, B- smoothness. This coaster is a bit of an older coaster that was built in the early 1990s, so it may have a bit of a rattle to it, or a shakiness, but it's still very fun. The swooping turns are intense, which make the intensity pretty good on this ride. This ride is all about the swooping turns and the intensity. Number 7 is Backlot Stunt Coaster, and overall, I'd give this ride a 7 out of 10, because this coaster, it may not be the best coaster ever, but the helix after the first launch is super good. It gives you some great G-force, and you gray out on that first massive helix after the first launch. It is awesome. The launches are pretty solid. I give it an A. They're solid. They're not like Top Thrill Dragster good, but still very good. Intensity, A. Like I've said earlier, this coaster is small but packs a great punch of intensity. But overall, this is an awesome coaster. It's pretty smooth. Not the smoothest ride, but still not rough. But you may be saying the height and speed are pretty bad, so is the drop. But still, this is a pretty solid roller coaster. Number 6 is Vortex. This is one of my personal favorites, as I really love aero loopers. Not love, but I really like aero loopers a lot. They're fun coasters, in my opinion. They don't really give too much headbanging, really, depending on how you ride them. And Vortex was one of my favorites that I've ridden. Vortex is probably the best aero looper I've ridden. The height is pretty good. It's like 142 feet tall. Speed is alright, 55 miles per hour. But this ride has some traditional grades when you see my grades for it. But this ride is all about the nice long ride it has due to the inversions. This ride has 6 inversions. Plus, another reason why the ride is kind of a longer ride is because the chain lift is so slow. But that could be an easy problem to finish with making a faster chain lift. But the ride after the chain lift has a solid ride time. And there's several solid elements on this ride. Number 5 is Firehawk. Overall, I'd give this ride an 8 out of 10. But I like it better than Superman Ultimate Flight due to the awesome elements it has, due to the inversions, A+ inversions, the sweet bank turns it has. Even though I didn't put it down, I'd give it give probably a B+. They aren't as good as Intamin's, but for flying coaster, bank turns, they're really good. Smoothness was awesome for this ride. I thought it was pretty smooth. A. The drop and intensity, I both gave B+, because this ride is very intense on some of the inversions, and the drop is pretty good because you flip and then you drop, which is a cool feeling. But the downside with this ride is the height, speed, and duration aren't the best. They're just average, but still, Firehawk is an awesome flying coaster. Number 4 is Mystic Timbers, and I have the layout right here, but this is a new for 2017 coaster. No one has ridden it yet, but I'm planning on riding it next season. I'm really excited for this coaster because this coaster could possibly be the best coaster at Kings Island. C- for height, C- speed. For duration, I give it a C. It's kind of average duration, but this ride makes up for it with the drop. The drop is awesome, especially if you're in the back row. On this coaster, the drop is amazing because you just get whipped over. It's awesome. The intensity and smoothness and airtime are all A's. A- for intensity. This coaster is going to be new for 2017, plus it's a GCI, so it's going to be glossy smooth. And the airtime is going to be A+ in my opinion. The high amount of ejector airtime on this ride is what's going to make this coaster awesome. I really like how many airtime hills are on this ride. Plus, it's kind of an out and back style layout, which is another thing what I like about wooden coasters. Out and back woodies are the best. Number 3 is Banshee. This coaster overall I'd give a 9.5 out of 10. Smoothness A, because it's glossy smooth in the front, but in the back it's not as smooth, but still very smooth. Inversions is what this ride is really known for. A+ inversions. Banshee has some of the best inversions on any invert out there. Hang time and drop I both gave B's. Intensity B. Every grade is an A or B, which is awesome here. Height and speed are decent as well. Duration is solid. Intensity solid. Everything about this ride is awesome. Just an awesome B&M invert. Number 2 is the Beast. And the only thing I don't like about the Beast is that it's not as smooth as a GCI, which I wish the Beast could have a GCI retrack. But I really like the rickety feel of the Beast. But moving on with that, the height is not the best. It's only like 110 feet tall. But the speed is solid with 65 miles per hour. Duration is A+, the drops A+, closing helix A. The intensity is okay on this ride, and I think it's B- in my opinion, due to that helix, the drops, the tunnels you go through. It's awesome. Smoothness isn't my favorite part of the Beast, but still, it's smooth for a wooden coaster. Plus, the Beast is a very old coaster, and it's crazy how it's the second best coaster at Kings Island, in my opinion. And number 1 is Diamondback. Overall, I'd give this ride 10 out of 10. Perfect coaster. One of my favorites I've ridden. It's my 3rd favorite coaster I've ridden, behind Maverick and Millennium Force. This coaster is flawless. A- height, A- speed. A is for duration. Intensity is kind of average. Smoothness, there is a rattle to the ride, which I gave it A-. Airtime, A+. Drop, A+. Water brakes, A. It's not as good as probably a dive coaster's water brakes, but they're still solid. Diamondback overall, I give a perfect 10. There's like nothing wrong with this ride at all, in my opinion. Even though this ride may have a rattle, it didn't really matter to me because this ride was awesome and gave some solid airtime. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.